The evening air was quiet, and dry leaves moved gently across the empty road. A hungry stray dog stood near the broken fence, sniffing the ground for anything he could eat. His ribs showed a little and his paws were tired, but his eyes still carried a soft, gentle light. He paused. Somewhere close there was a sound, not loud, not dangerous. A tiny cry. The dog lifted his head and listened again. The sound came from behind an old clay pot near the corner of the garden. Slowly, he walked closer, careful not to scare whatever was hiding there. Another small cry. He leaned forward and saw her, a baby cat, so small she could fit inside one hand. Her fur was messy, her whiskers were wet with tears, and she shivered as the cool wind touched her. She looked at the dog, and for a moment both of them were still. No growling. No fear. Just quiet. The kitten tried to stand, but her legs shook and she fell back down. The dog stepped back for a second, unsure. All his life, people had pushed him away. Stones had been thrown, doors had been shut. He had learned to leave before someone told him to. But something inside his chest felt different now. The kitten cried again, softer this time, like she was calling anyone who would listen. The dog lay down slowly so he wouldn't look big or scary. He lowered his head near the ground, letting the kitten see his eyes first. His tail moved just once, not fast, just a gentle greeting. The kitten blinked. Her tiny body relaxed just a little. She crawled closer, unsure, stopping every few steps as if asking a question with her eyes. The dog didn't move. He just breathed quietly and watched. The sun began to fade and the shadows grew longer. Night was coming, and with night came cold, hunger, and lonely darkness. The kitten let out a weak, shaking meow and pressed her face near the dog's paw as if it felt safer there. The dog looked at the empty road, the dark corners, the world that had never taken care of him. Then he looked back at the kitten. He lifted his paw gently, not to push, not to scare, just to pull her closer so the wind wouldn't reach her. The kitten curled up beside him, her tiny heartbeat shaking like a small drum. The dog stayed awake, listening carefully to every sound. A car passed far away, a door closed somewhere. The sky turned deeper and deeper blue. The dog realized something important. If he left now, she would not make it through the night. His stomach growled, his bones ached, but he stayed. And while he guarded the little life beside him, he wondered, who left her here? And what would happen when morning came? The night moved slowly, like a long breath that never ended. The stray dog stayed awake, ears turning at every small sound. The kitten slept pressed against his chest, warming herself with his body. When the first soft light touched the ground, birds began to whisper in the trees. The kitten opened her sleepy eyes and let out a tiny yawn. For a moment, she looked confused. Then she saw the dog and her body relaxed again. She trusted him now. The dog stood carefully so he wouldn't disturb her. Hunger hit him hard. His legs felt weak. But he turned back to the kitten and nudged her gently with his nose, as if saying, "Stay close." The kitten followed, stumbling a little, her tail shaking like a thin piece of grass. They walked together along the edge of the road, staying near the bushes where it was safer. The dog searched for food. A leftover piece of bread near a trash bin. A small bone someone had dropped. He could have eaten everything himself. But when he looked at the kitten's tired eyes, something inside changed. He pushed the bread toward her. The kitten sniffed it, unsure at first, then began to eat slowly, like each bite was a gift she didn't expect. The dog watched quietly, ignoring the empty ache in his own stomach. When she finished, he licked her head softly, cleaning the crumbs from her fur. The kitten leaned into him, purring so gently it sounded like a small secret. They continued walking. Sometimes the kitten got tired, and the dog waited. Sometimes she stopped and looked around, searching for someone, maybe the mother who never returned. There was no one. They reached an old park bench where the sun fell warm across the ground. The kitten climbed awkwardly onto the wood and curled up. The dog sat beside the bench, guarding the area like a silent soldier. A man passed by, carrying groceries. He looked at them for a second, then kept walking. A little girl tugged at her mother's hand, wanting to come closer, but the mother shook her head. Nobody stopped. Nobody asked. The dog lowered his gaze, used to being invisible, but this time the feeling hurt more, because now he wasn't just invisible alone. He was invisible with someone who needed help. The wind picked up again, and the kitten shivered. The dog climbed onto the bench and let her crawl against his chest. Her tiny paws rested on his fur as if she had always belonged there. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like a stray. He felt like something else. Responsible. The kitten slowly fell asleep, but the dog kept thinking, eyes on the road, alert to every movement. They couldn't stay here forever. They needed water. They needed shelter. They needed someone kind enough to see them. As the shadows changed and afternoon light began to fade, the dog heard footsteps approaching, slow, careful, unsure. He lifted his head, ears forward. Someone had finally noticed them. But were they safe? Or about to be chased away again? The footsteps stopped only a few feet away. The dog didn't growl. He just shifted his body so the kitten stayed behind him, hidden and safe. His eyes watched carefully, ready to move if he had to. A pair of shoes stood in front of them. Slowly, a young boy bent down. His hands stayed open, not reaching, not forcing. He just looked, really looked, at the tired dog and the tiny kitten curled behind him. His voice came out soft. "Hey, are you two okay?" The dog tilted his head. He didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. It wasn't harsh. It wasn't angry. It sounded like sunlight. The boy glanced around as if searching for someone. When he saw no owner, no leash, no basket, his face changed. Something like worry passed through his eyes. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a sandwich. The dog smelled it instantly, hunger exploding inside him. His mouth watered, but he didn't move forward. He looked back at the kitten first. The boy noticed. He slowly tore the sandwich in half and placed one piece gently closer to the kitten's side. Then he put the other piece nearer to the dog and backed up, giving space. No rushing, no trapping. Just waiting. The kitten peeked out, nose twitching. She sniffed the bread, took one tiny bite, then another. The dog finally leaned forward and ate too, but he still watched the boy, ready to protect if anything changed. After a moment, the boy sat on the bench edge and whispered to himself. Someone left them, but why? A breeze moved across the park, carrying fallen leaves with it. The dog finished eating and licked the crumbs off the kitten's face again, as if telling her everything was fine. The boy smiled when he saw that. A gentle silence settled between all three of them. Then from the path behind, a woman's voice called out. "Samir, come here, don't touch animals like that." The boy looked back, nervous. His mother walked toward them quickly, worry filling her steps. She stopped when she saw the dog, not angry, just unsure. The dog lowered his head again. The kitten pressed herself closer to him. The mother studied the scene carefully. The thin ribs, the tired eyes, the tiny kitten trembling but still purring softly. She sighed. "They look harmless, but we can't keep strays, Beta, it's risky." The boy's shoulders dropped, but he didn't move. Instead, he asked quietly, "Can we at least help them today?" The mother stayed silent, thinking. The dog could feel the weight of the moment, like something important was about to be decided. Finally, she nodded once. "Only today, and we stay careful." The boy smiled with relief. He poured water from a bottle into the cap and gently placed it near the kitten. She drank, slow and shaky. Then he set some crumbs for the dog again. The dog drank too, feeling strength slowly return. But as the sun began to sink, painting the sky orange and pink, the mother looked at the empty road and then at the homeless pair lying under the bench. "When night comes," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else, "where will they go?" For the first time, the dog saw hesitation in her eyes, not fear. Something closer to concern. The boy turned to her, hopeful. Maybe we shouldn't leave them here. The mother looked at the dog. The dog stared back. A moment stretched between them, fragile like glass. And just as she opened her mouth to speak, a shadow moved from across the park, fast and loud. Someone else had noticed the animals too, and they were walking straight toward them. But their footsteps didn't sound kind.